welcome you in this part where we're going to talk about the leaf. We have talked about the roots, we have discussed the stem, and now it is time for us to discuss the leaf. The leaf has three main parts. It has the lamella, and it has the petiole, it has the leaf base. The lamina is the same as the leaf blade, and the petiole is the same as the leaf stalk. And you'll find that when you look at the leaf structure, it has the tip, it has the margin, it has the veins, it has the leaf base, it has the petiole, and it also has the veins. But when you look at the margin, we always say that the margin is serrated. That is, if the margin appear as if it is toothed on the surface. And an example that we can give of a leaf that is toothed or serrated is the hibiscus leaf. Then we can also call it entire if it is smooth. And example that we can give here is the leaf of the orange. Now the petiole, which we call the leaf stalk, is continuous with the midrib. In fact, it is the one that forms the midrib. Now, we want now to look at the functions of the leaf. What are the functions of the leaf? The leaf has many functions. One of the major functions is the manufacture of food. It has chlorophyll and chloroplasts, which absorb sunlight and then carbon dioxide, and then they manufacture food. But it also acts, it has other functions like that one of gaseous exchange. It is used in the allowing of gaseous exchange to take place via the stomatas. Then it is also used in the transpiration. It allows the removal of excess water from the plant to the environment. Then it can also be used as a storage organ. It can also be used as a storage organ. It can also be used as a reproductive organ. For example, we have the bryophytes or the brophyllums. It can also be used as a support organ, where we have it modifying itself into hooks, and it can also be used as a protection organ. For example, when it modifies itself into spines, like in the cactus. Now, when you look at the venation, there are two types of venation in the leaves. We have the reticulated venation, which is the network venation, and example still we give the hibiscus leaf. Then we have the parallel venation. The parallel venation, that one, we find it in grasses, we can find it in bananas, we can find it in maize and millet and other types of cereals. Then the structures of the leaf. There are two types or shapes of the leaves, two leaf shapes that we have. We have the simple leaves, and which have single lamina, and then we have the compound leaves, where the blade is divided into a number of leaflets. Now the compound leaves, we have different arrangements of the leaflets, and we have, so one of the arrangement is that one of the pinnate. In the pinnate, the leaflets are in pairs opposite one another. They are in pairs but opposite one another. And an example of this we can give is the cassia. Cassia is the one of the plants that has got pinnate leaf arrangement. Then we have the bipinnate leaf arrangement. In the bipinnate leaf arrangement, here you will find that each pinnate leaflet is itself divided into pinnate leaflets. And the example that we give here are the jacarandas. You have a pinnate leaflet, and it is dividing itself into a pinnate leaflet. An example that we give is the jacaranda. Then we have the dictate. The dictate, we give an example of cassava. This is where the leaflets radiate out from the end of the stalk. like hand or fingers. Okay, the leaflets are coming out, and when they come out of the end of the stalk, it is as if it is like a finger. Those are what we refer to as the digitate. And the example that we have here is the cassava. Then we have the trifoliate. For the trifoliate, each leaf consists of 3 leaflets. Each leaf consists of 3 leaflets. And the example that we can give is that one of the beans. So we have been looking at the shape. We have said that we have 2 leaf shapes. There is the simple shape, and then there is also the compound shape. The compound leaves are those ones that have a single lamina, and then the simple leaves are those ones that have a single lamina. We give an example of hibiscus, and the compound leaves are those ones that have blade that is divided into a number of leaflets. And we have said there are many ways of arranging the leaflets or the compound leaves, and one of the arrangement of the compound leaf is the pinnate, where the leaflets in pairs and they are opposite to one another, which are the cassia. And then we have the bipinnate, where the pinnate leaflet itself has divided into a pinnate leaflet, that is a jacaranda. We have seen the digitate, whereby the leaflet radiate out of the stalk in form of a hand finger, and the example we gave was cassava. We have seen the trifoliate, where the leaf has 3 leaflets, and it is found in beans. Now we want to look at the arrangement of leaves. How do leaves arrange themselves? There is an arrangement we call the alternate. In the alternate, this is where there is 1 leaf at each node. There is 1 leaf at each node. Meaning that if we have a node here, there will be 1 leaf. If we have another node here, there will be only 1 leaf. That is the alternate. And then we have another arrangement of leaves, which we call the opposite arrangement. In the opposite arrangement, you will find that the leaves are on the same node. There are 2 leaves on the same node, and they are opposite each other. 2 leaves on the same node and opposite to one another. It's what we are calling as opposite arrangement. Then we have another one, which is the whole arrangement. In the whole arrangement, this is where we have more than 2 or 3 leaves at one node. They are arranged around the node. The leaves are arranged around the node, and this is what we call the whole arrangement. So we have looked at the arrangement of the leaf. We have the alternative arrangement, where we have 1 leaf at a node. We have seen the opposite arrangement of leaves, where we have 2 leaves at one node but opposite each other, and where we have the whole arrangement of leaves, where we have many leaves at one node and arranged around the node. Now we want to look at the modification of the leaves. There are many ways the leaves have been modified. Leaves have been modified into scales, especially when you look at the onions, and these ones are mainly dry membranous leaves, which protect the inner part of the fruit or the material from mechanical injury, and then they also protect it from drying out. Those are the leaf scales. Then we have the pinchers. These are leaves whose parts have turned into carnivorous style, like that. They capture and then digest insects. These are insectivorous or carnivorous plants, and we refer to them as pinchers. Part of them adapt in such a way that they trap insects, grab them, and then digest them and use the nutrient. Then we have other modified leaves like the reproductive leaves. Reproductive leaves, these are leaves where we have the buds at the margin developing into the bulb. The margin of the leaf, there is a bud that develops, and then it develops into a bulb, and when it grows, it falls off and it grows into a new plant. These ones are what we call the reproductive leaves, and it is a modification for reproduction, and it is mainly found in Bryophyllum. Then we have other leaves that develop tendrils. These are wire-like structures, and they are used for climbing. They are used for climbing other organisms, and we find them especially in the garden peas. Then we have the leaf spines. The leaf spines are leaves have modified themselves in such a way that they turn into spines. And example that we have here are the cactus. This one is mainly for protection purposes from herbivores, and then also to reduce the rate of transpiration. We are looking at the leaf development, or we have looked at the leaf modification, where we have looked at the reproductive leaves, we have looked at the pinchers, we have looked at the leaf scales, we have looked at the spines, we have looked at the tendrils, the way leaves have modified themselves to perform other functions. Now we want to look at the internal structure of a leaf. The internal structure of a leaf has three layers. It has the upper layer, which is made up of protective cuticle. It has the middle layer, which we call the mesophyll layer, and this is where photosynthesis takes place. And this one has got two tissues. It has got the palisade cells at the upper end, and then also the spongy cells at the lower end. Then we have the lower epidermis, or the lower layer, which is protective layer, also made up of cuticle. And you find that the vascular systems are continuous. The vascular system in the leaves are continuous with those ones in the stem. Now if you look at the palisade cells and the spongy cells, all of them, they have chlorophyll and they have chloroplasts. And in addition to that one having chlorophyll, meaning that they take part in the manufacture of food, photosynthesis takes place in the palisade cells and the spongy cells. And in addition to that, they also have a lot of air spaces. Now also, they are surrounded by the parenchyma cells. They are also surrounded by parenchyma cells. That is the mesophyll layer. It is also surrounded by the parenchyma cells. Now when we look at the structure of the leaf, you find that the upper part, we have the upper epidermis, and then when you go down, you find the cells, and those ones are the palisade tissue cells, and then below that one we have the spongy tissues, and then lower we have the lower epidermis, and then on the lower epidermis, that's where we find the stomata. A stomata is a tiny pore. They are tiny pores which have two bean-shaped guard cells, and when the pressure is low, the stomata will close, and when the pressure is high, the stomatas will open. This is due to tag pressure that is created into the guard cells, and there is continuous control of water and gaseous exchange into the plant. We have looked at the leaf adaptations, and we have looked also at the stomata. We have looked at the internal structure. We have looked at the modification. I think that is all we can talk about the leaf at the moment. So we shall stop here. I wish to see you in another session. Please try to be there and then try to learn. Let's try to learn together. Thank you for staying with us.